Today we're going to talk about the 10 reasons people give up on digital nomad life. This comes about from yet another hit piece from Big Cubicle. Was it Big Office or Big Cubicle that we referenced earlier?
PR, just like putting these articles out into the world, finding the people who hated nomad life, and they're like, see, nomad life is terrible. Everybody come back to an office and settle down, guys.
Who's got a stake in this? Where's the financial motivation? Somebody that builds the cubicle sound walls or something. It's going to be some absolutely wild.
It's like the Wizard of Oz. You like pull it back and it's like there's this little guy running some company with offices.
Yeah.
It's like the fax machine printer people.
This circular microphone thing in the office rooms and the boardrooms, you know, the conference room things. God, I know those things were this so expensive. It's like that was the pinnacle of society. That was the pinnacle of technology in the office back then. So they're coming from digital nomads. We're going to talk about this subject because there actually have been 2 new articles that have come out making cases against the digital nomad lifestyle. We actually ran an episode, maybe 2 episodes similar to this, where people were arguing. I think in one, somebody was arguing the death of the digital nomad, meaning the trend was over and people were stopping, and we had to shut that one down quick because there's no data to support that one. And then there was another one where I just went red hot against it because this person was making all these cases against the digital nomad lifestyle, and these people were just so poorly prepared for what to expect.
The people who were going to live digital nomad life that were interviewed. Someone else wrote the article that had interviewed, remember it was like 5 different people that they interviewed who gave up on nomad life. They were like, we'll just find the people who did it all wrong and interview them and tell you why digital nomad life is terrible.
Yeah, they're ganging up on us. They're building a strong case over here. So there's been two brand new articles that just came out, I think 1 week and then another week. And we've got 10 different points that people are trying to make. And we're going to run through them with you. And actually, some of them we agreed beforehand
some
kind
validity.
of do make sense. But we have to give them some context. Yeah, there's some validity, but we've got to give it some context because it's right and it's wrong. You know, so we want to explain to people that might read these things and say, okay, maybe the digital nomad lifestyle isn't for me because of XYZ problems. I think you need to know the whole story. And as you know with us, we're not going to cut out any of the bullshit. We're not going to paint rose-colored glasses on everything. It's going to be real and authentic. If it sucks, we will tell you it sucks, but also what you can do about it.
If it's worth the hardships, sometimes
exactly.
That's the case. So yeah, I like this. Jeff found these awesome, well, I say awesome articles for us to talk about. Not that the articles themselves are awesome, but it's about it was 2 different people who I know one of them you said had lived nomad life for a year. I don't know if that was both of them, but basically both of these people had given nomad life a shot, gave up. One, I think you said, went to Bangkok and Thailand and then gave up. I don't know where the other one was, but they have interesting points. And it's like, if you don't prepare or know what you're doing and you go into nomad life wrong, it's going to be terrible and you're going to want to go home. So that's a lot of what this is. But if you just, if you're new to this or you don't know anything and you read, like if I had read this before I knew anything else and never saw or heard another way, I might be like, oh man, I thought this was going to be cool, but maybe nomad life's actually terrible. I won't do it. And maybe I never would have done it. So we want to be the voice of the other way and share our honest thoughts, as Jess said, of like what about these are accurate, because there's some accuracy to it, but there's a lot of nuance, a lot of ways to avoid these issues, and also just sometimes thinking of is that hardship worth it compared to what's back home, and I think that's often not talked about. So with that, Jeff, I know there's 10 different ones across the 2 articles. Do you want to just jump right into the first, or do you want to give any more context of the 2 people that we're talking about? You might know more than me. Okay.
I think we've set the stage pretty well. So for the first one, you need the context of this article. So I'm going to give you the title. It's I Tried Living the Digital Nomad Life in Bangkok, and it isn't all it's cracked up to be. Here's what influencers won't tell you. Okay, the first thing is absolutely shocking to me, to probably everyone. This is Bangkok, mind you. Number 1, the truth nobody tells you. The heat and humidity will drain you. Sorry, the heat and humidity will drain you.
Go nomad in a cold location if you don't like the heat. You don't have to live in Bangkok.
Also, well, yes, there is that. But also there is very much oh my God, I put my hand on a hot stove and it burned. Like, It's Bangkok. Of course it's hot. How did this come as a surprise to you? And how do you make a case against the digital nomad lifestyle based on something that is patently obvious?
That's quite the adverb. I don't think I've ever heard you use that. Do I hate
I know
adverbs?
you hate adverbs. What?
I didn't know I hated adverbs.
Who was it?
It just was a surprising one. That's not true. I don't like. I like adverbs. This is a funny conversation.
I don't know about that.
We never know where we're going on this. Okay.
I think Stephen King, the writer, said that using adverbs is poor writing.
The same way people told us we shouldn't cuss on our podcast because it was also unintelligent. Can't cuss. We can't use adverbs. What else we got? Anyway, this is cracking me up. I can't even remember. Wait, what did you even say? Oh.
The heat and humidity will drain you. Okay, so let me give you some lines from here. Let me give you one line. I'm going to let you comment. Okay. Reality check. Bangkok is hot. Not summer in Europe hot. More like permanent sauna hot. Step outside for 5 minutes and you'll be sweating through your clothes. Go to
summer in Europe
It affects your productivity.
This is cracking me up. Okay. I do have a thought for this. Okay, I'm going to give 5% validity to this, which I know is like 5% more than you would ever give. Jeff's face is shocked, I know. Because let me tell you,
wildly
it is that kind of surprising. I feel like even when you know something is hot, like, you know, it's hot in Georgia and Atlanta where I'm from, but like I'm working inside when it's really hot in air conditioning and I don't really think about it. So I actually love the heat. And when I went, I'm going to give an example. I was living in Sri Lanka. This was probably like 5 or 6 years into my nomad life. And I was staying in this really cool, like a lot of times it was used for yoga retreats. So you've got those, like what do you call it? Like accommodations where I'm staying. It was like on the beach. You could kind of like see the ocean and the palm trees and all of that. And it has only 3, I'm like, how many walls? 3 walls, right? So it's like an indoor, outdoor, open. I was like, maybe there were less, I can't remember. The monkeys can come in and out of your room. You know, it's like, you have a net over your bed, but like it's open. And it didn't occur even to me then that Sri Lanka was so fucking hot that like, I couldn't think, like I had to work early in the mornings and late at night because the accommodations that I was staying in, I was there for like a week or 2, and then I went somewhere else that was like an air conditioning indoor place where I could work all day. But I genuinely had to work like before, like midday. All of us were like, it's just too hot to work. Like my brain does not work.
If you're just picking up the podcast now, this is a shock.
Because I love the heat.
Come out of Marissa's mouth. There is no heat.
Never.
There is no heat.
It almost usually is never. So for me to even say that and also be blown away by things like that, and sometimes in Bali it's the same. Like there's a couple of like you think you want to go work in the indoor outdoor cafes, and most of the time I do. But sometimes in the middle of the day, that heat, like there's a couple different air conditioning cafes that people will work in, or I'll go home and work because it gets so hot that you like your brain stops working. Like you cannot think. So I would say. Maybe, but also Bangkok has like a lot of like you're more indoors than like in the city with air conditioning. So I don't know what they're talking about. It's just maybe they just don't like the heat. So even for someone from me who like loves, you know, it usually can't be hot enough and I'm toasting and love it. I've been in some places where it even surprised me where I was like, this is unworkable. But I also then found another place to go live and work where they had air conditioning. And I realized that living in the indoor outdoor life wasn't working for my work stuff that month. So like there's solutions. So that's why I give maybe I feel good about my 5% validity. That could be a surprise. But also if you just don't like heat in general, like don't go to Southeast Asia. Don't like go do the summers in Europe. Go to places in the seasons and the temperatures you like. There's a million places in the world, and that's the point of nomad life is you can choose the perfect temperature. Go to Colombia where Medellin, it changes 1 degree the whole year and it's perfect, you know? Anyway, that's my rant.
Negative 2%.
I thought my conviction would give you, thank you. But even still, that dropped you negative 2 points.
I mean, there's user error. I mean, there's so many layers of checks that they could have, like, number 1, check common sense.
Hot.
Like, okay, Southeast Asia.
Hot.
It's hot. It's like, oh my God, Antarctica's cold?
Right.
Whoa, what? Shocker. Number 2, weather.com exists. Everybody knows who it is. Fuck, it's on your phone. It's built into your phone.
I don't know. You can't sometimes, like, living in Mexico in the summer, sometimes I think I'll want it, and I walk outside and I'm like, it is fucking hot. Like, even I can't deal. So I get some, like, sometimes it feels different than it. Sometimes you just can't imagine. But you do it once and you're like, all right, I don't like this. Go find a different temperature.
Yeah.
You don't have to live in Bangkok.
And then to, like, color your whole experience of living as a digital nomad on one hot place that you chose and didn't realize it was too hot. That seems ridiculous.
We can't give this statement validity. I give it a... Can we do... What was the episode we did the rankings, the interview? No, the 0 out of 10 rankings. What would you give this as a valid reason to not like nomad life? Yeah, I give it a 0.2 out of 10. No, I give it a 0 out of 10. Okay. Negative 10 out of 10. What's next?
All right. Number 2. Wi-Fi is good, ellipses, ... until
Facts.
it isn't. Okay.
You go off on this one.
Okay. Most cafes Okay. I'm going to give you the statements from the article. Bangkok's Wi-Fi is fast compared to many places in Southeast Asia. Most cafes advertise free Wi-Fi like it's part of the furniture. But here's the catch. It's not always reliable. I can't count how many times I was mid-Zoom call when the connection dropped, or I had to sprint to another cafe because I'd settled into something that had an outage. If your work requires consistent professional-grade internet, you'll probably need a backup plan, like paying for a co-working space or tethering off your phone's data. Both work, but they add to the cost and frustration.
True.
It's not wrong. It's not wrong. But again, this is deep in user error territory here. Like, you would think as a responsible professional, you would have these things planned out, right? Like, this should not be... none of this should be a surprise.
Yeah. I thought you had more. It's like silence. I feel like you have more to say. This is where you have backup plans. Yeah. Also, like, okay, so Bangkok is a pretty reliable place for Wi-Fi. I was going to say, like, when you're first starting or you're first choosing a place, like, go to places that have reliable Wi-Fi. Like, we're not the only ones in the U.S. who, you know, work remotely and have reliable Wi-Fi. Like, go to other places where are. And then also... like, don't rely on cafes. That's a terrible thing to do. So if you know that you have calls and they're important, make sure you have an Airbnb that has reliable Wi-Fi. Make sure you do pay for the co-working space that will have reliable Wi-Fi. Like, these are common. Make sure your phone has cell phone data that you can tether to your computer when the whole world goes out when the power goes out. Or Wi-Fi goes out, and you can still work. So there's like backup on backup on backup. And the validity that I will give to this is it is a pain in the ass, like, for sure. Like, it's so nice sometimes when I've been in countries where I've had to, find the different ways to go to a co-working space when the power goes out, or tether to my phone when the Wi-Fi drops. And it is not fun. And sometimes I go back home or go to a country or a new place where, like, the Wi-Fi is just solid and fast. And I'm like, oh my God, this is such a breath of fresh air. Like, I can't believe I've been doing that for the last month. But I willingly went into those situations because I wanted to explore some country or some place or some destination or, off the beaten path that I wanted to be at. And I was willing to make that trade-off for a while, but it's annoying, and you will be so grateful when you have Wi-Fi. Also, this is getting less and less and less of a problem as time goes on because Wi-Fi is just getting better. But anyway, like, I remember even me as a brand new nomad, like, when I first went, I remember I was in Bali and I had this big webinar I was, like, presenting that had hundreds of people coming to it. And I was like, I need a solid Wi-Fi. So I had data and backup because the day before it, I was in Canggu in Bali, and this is very unusual, but the whole town, like, the power went out everywhere, the whole place. And so, like, that's not a cafe's fault. Like, literally the whole town power, imagine like a hurricane comes through. I've had that in Mexico where I've had to tether to my phone or cancel calls. Like
tsunami season,
these
right?
Are
like, you get a whole...
tsunamis are not as common.
Yeah.
Typhoons, hurricanes.
What is it? Is it typhoons? You've got like a season up in
hurricane,
the Yucatan,
just hurricane
right?
season
comes through once.
Yeah, I've been there, and like where it knocked out power in the whole town, and I had to like reschedule things. So also I mean, sometimes things just happen, but anyway, like in Bali when the power went out, I had paid to join a co-working space. I probably paid $100, I don't know, for that month solely because I knew I had stuff like that, and I knew I needed a backup just in case, and I did. So anyway, all that to say, it is a pain sometimes. Some places are better than others, but it's not something that has to deter you. And if it's something that really drives you crazy, or if you know you're someone that has a high call load or really absolutely needs strong connectivity, go only to, cities or places or locations that you know and research ahead of time and get backups. Like those are my thoughts. So partially truthful and a pain, but also like manageable.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I honestly think that number one, you just shouldn't rely on cafes. Like your number one priority should be wherever you're staying. And there should be, you should put some considerable thought into where you're staying and figuring out the internet situation before you even get there.
Did we do a whole episode on how to make sure, or maybe it was just part of choosing it was so many episodes ago. I think it was about choosing an Airbnb or like finding your accommodations when you travel. And that was one of our criteria. We talked about ways. We just give like a 60-second, 30-second kind of mention on how you would help yourself. Like how would you find an Airbnb that has good Wi-Fi if you've never been?
Yeah, so typically when we're going through listings, nowadays you actually kind of see it printed in there, and a lot of the descriptions it'll show what the Wi-Fi speed is because they know digital nomads are coming through there and they're going to ask anyways. I actually don't think that's enough. I asked them to send me a picture of a current speed test, and you can ask them to do that. You can just do it on a computer, screenshot it. I've had people say, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm not able to do that because I'm not on the property."
Yeah.
And I just won't pull the trigger unless I see it. There's probably a reason. Like they can probably get, if they're not there, they usually have some sort of caretaker they can go there and do it. I won't book it unless it's like solid. And I don't know what you're looking for, but anything like 20 megs down and up is probably good enough.
I used to settle for 10, but I thought
I think you should. I think it's reasonable to expect 20 down pretty much anywhere at this point, especially with Starlink. And then that's just kind of that's table stakes. Your workstation has to be, your livelihood depends on this. So this should be almost like number one. Safety first, and then Wi-Fi number 2, food 3, So yeah, message your Airbnb host, get a current screenshot of the speed test. And if it matches up to what you're looking for, then pull the trigger. And then don't rely on cafes. I would never go somewhere and be like, I'll go find a cafe somewhere to work from. Call's going to suck. You're going to drop. It's going to be noisy.
Yeah, I like to go do your emails and computer work, but not the reliance. Or if you've been going for like a whole week and it's super reliable and fast and has quiet and it's okay to take calls, then sure do it, but don't make that your like reliable source.
So on this one, is it a legit concern? Yeah, I think it is. I think, what do I give this one? I give it a 5. I would give it a 10 in the level of concerns, but I give it a 5 because this should not be a surprise, and you really should prepare ahead for this kind of things, like especially your first trip, because a lot of the people that we're talking to now working for companies, this is crucial. Their first trip, if you're not available that first day that you're on a digital nomad trip, oh fuck, you're in trouble. You've got to be squeaky clean that first month. So you lock this one in. I give it a
4 out of 10 because same as you said, I'm like, I don't know, look at us. Like it matters very much, and if you do it wrong, it will kill your digital nomad life. But there's just so many ways to ensure that you're fine that it shouldn't stop you.
Especially now. Years ago, sure, maybe not so many options.
Yeah.
Now there's no excuse.
What's next?
It's just really done.
Ready.
Okay, we're ready for the next one? Okay. The cost of living isn't as cheap as you think. And again, this is talking about Bangkok. All right. Let me give you a couple lines in here because this is reading very much like a first world cost arbitrage problem. I don't know what they're expecting, but they say, yes, street food can be ridiculously affordable at $1.50. You've said this before, maybe $1.50, which is wild. But if you want anything resembling your Western lifestyle, say, a decent apartment near, I don't know what that is, a gym membership, and occasional brunch, it can add up quickly. I thought I'd be living large for half the cost at home. The truth, living comfortably in Bangkok isn't that cheap. The influencers say you can live like a king for $1,000 a month, are either exaggerating or cutting a lot of corners. Okay, so since you actually have lived there and I have not, let me leave it
I
to
would
you
say
to
you
respond to that one.
absolutely used to be able to a couple of years ago for like $1,000 in Bangkok and Bali and places like that live like truly live in ways that you're like, why is everyone not doing this? This is insane. Like you got a penthouse in Bangkok, you've got a beautiful villa in Bali with the pool and house, all the things. Now it's like, if you compared what you would get for $1,000 in a city in the States versus $1,000 in Bangkok or Bali or somewhere like that, you are still getting so much more. Like in the US, you're not getting like a beautiful modern place in a big city that has like a rooftop pool and a doorman and all of that. Whereas there, you probably still can, but it's just not the same as it used to be. So yeah, I would say like kind of baseline, it's not as inexpensive. You don't get as much for as little anymore. I feel like maybe the arbitrage has all kind of like sort of kicked in a little bit, and now places like that are overrun with nomads and expats, and like they're charging more rent in those main places. I think you could probably still go in the middle of nowhere, Thailand, and like have the most epic place you could ever find for that much, but not like in the main cities or in Copenhagen or on these main kind of digital nomad islands or places or hotspots. That said, I was talking to a digital nomad friend of ours who was telling me she's still been like bopping around like all over lately, more than you and I have. And she was actually saying, she was kind of shocked. She was like, prices are kind of not unaffordable, but not as, I guess here's the difference. It's not unaffordable, but it's not as crazy affordable as it used to be. She was like, this is insane. I used to be able to travel to Playa and get this epic place for $1,000, and now she's like, I'm paying $2,000 and the place isn't as great anymore. Or I'm like, I'm trying to go to London and it's like unaffordable. I mean, London's always been expensive, but anyway, all that to say, prices are getting more expensive. I feel like arbitrage is starting to meet sort of in the middle. You still get more bang for your buck. Also, I think the takeaway here is like twofold. One, you're still getting more for your money than staying at home. And two, I would say even if prices were exactly this, like even if you got the exact same as you got wherever home is for you, as in Thailand or wherever else you went, to me, it's still worth it to do it for a while, because you get to live in Thailand. You get to go experience another culture, different food, different people, different life, different views, different places nearby to travel on the weekend. So I guess some people maybe live nomad life. Like I know there's a lot of expats or people who retire who move to different countries solely because their money goes farther there. So that's a strategy. But I'm curious if you would say the same. For me, it had nothing to do with cost arbitrage. That was like a wonderful benefit where some places I could get more bang for my buck, but I wasn't traveling because of that. I was traveling because I wanted to experience new places, new people, new cultures, new food, new life, new ways of thinking, new places and all of that. So to me, it's like, okay, that's unfortunate that it's, it was nice when it was happening. You still happen to get more. And even if that wasn't the case, it's still worth it. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. It was a bonus for me. Actually, I have numbers. Do we want some numbers here? Cost of living comparison. So I've used my hometown here in California. Not representative if you're in the middle somewhere, but the coast, it's probably going to be somewhat similar. So let's start with rent. That's probably the easiest thing to understand. So if you get a 1-bedroom apartment in a city center, not Airbnb. Right?
This is in California, where
if you're renting locally.
Oh, in Bangkok.
No, it's Bangkok. Right. Bangkok, yeah. I'm actually going to bring up Nomad list too, because it'll give me the average Airbnb. But this person was renting long term, which is what this would be. You'd be renting from a local, not Airbnb. It puts it at currently $683 per month, which is 70% less than here, which is $2,300. Say that's on the low end. Okay, you go up to $1,000, right? That would probably get you something fairly nice, I would assume, and that's still less than half. And then you look at, fitness club, 33% less than here. Transportation, 54% less than here. Big. Just food is just shopping is around 50 to 70%. And then restaurants, obviously, that's the big one. You're 87% less. So the average meal at an actual restaurant, not the street food, is $3.14. That's wild to me. Is that right?
That's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't been to
that,
a while since
that
I've been to
is,
Asia, but yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Okay. So it's not Is that what it's made out to be in Hollywood? Sure.
Or it used to be. I feel like when I first started was like you could get crazy hotels that were like the overwater bungalows for like $150 that would cost, like $1,000 a night in the States. It used to be like, this is not people lying. Maybe it's just outdated, but it's still way more affordable than the US.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that everywhere though, Like,
so
it's just,
for cost of living, that it's not actually as cheap as people say. What would you rate this person's reason as giving up on nomad life as valid?
That's terrible. It's a terrible reason. No. It's not good. It's not good. What do I put it at? If Thailand's not good enough for you for the digital nomad life, just because of the cost, I don't know what to tell you.
No,
it's not going to get much better.
Unless you want to go live in like rural Asia somewhere. Go for it.
Sure. Yeah. You get.
I know.
You get a 1
somewhere between a 0 and a 1.
You get a 1.
I'll give you a
0 and a 1.
Just to meet
Okay. We're same. So okay. One last thing. Nomadlist.com. They aggregate all these metrics and score all these things on these digital nomad places. It says that all in, full cost for rent, for all your expenses, food, including food and leisure, $1,600 a month, and I actually buy that.
Which, like, there's no way in the the U.S., the average person living our lifestyle is like, that's not even covering your rent.
No.
And then you think about nomad life, like you're not paying for a car and car insurance and like so many other things you have to, like, you don't account for in the U.S. that you don't pay when you're gone. So yeah, bad reason, especially with Bangkok.
Bad reason. Okay.
We're done.
I think we're done
over that one. What's next?
Yep. Okay. The next one is.
I don't know what it is. I'm scared.
It's a nothing. It's a nothing one. The distractions are real. Bangkok is the most stimulating cities in the world. The nightlife, the food scene, endless events. It's all right there. While it sounds fun, it's also a major productivity killer. I can't tell you the amount of times I ended up at home at 1 a.m. in a tuk-tuk ride. If you're serious at your work, you need discipline. Otherwise, Bangkok will eat your focus. Okay, I'm sorry you're not yet a responsible adult. This is a 100% you problem. Okay, like if you can't handle the idea of living somewhere with distractions because you don't have discipline, that's not the problem. That's not Bangkok's fault. You can't go to any major city. You need to be. Can't live in New York. Can't live in LA. This has very little to do with Bangkok and more to do with maybe you don't have a remote working discipline yet.
I was gonna say it reminds me of the story you tell of like your first month in Colombia too. But you didn't blame nomad life. You blamed yourself, rightfully so.
That was me. I took accountability for it. I had no discipline yet. Yeah.
Yes.
It takes a while. Yeah. You gotta own that one. I'm sorry that it's so brilliantly distracting and fun, but I'm not gonna. I quit digital nomad life because it was too much fun and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Come on, get the fuck out of here.
This is one where I give the smallest little like half percentage of validity.
Giving it.
I don't know. I guess I want to honor. Wow. Here's what I'll say. It is absolutely not a reason to give up on nomad life. It is absolutely a that person problem, and like you can form boundaries and like be responsible. However, what I will say is like he's not wrong that like when you're in fabulous places, it's harder. Like I guess it's just extra restraint, right? It's the same as if you were trying to like be on a diet and you're just in your home and you only have the food that you cook. It's easy, and then you like go out to eat with friends and they're ordering all that unhealthy food. It's like in your face and you're like, oh, it like takes more restraint, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So when you're in beautiful, like I feel like when I go to Costa Rica, I'm sitting inside working and there's like a beautiful beach outside. It's like, I want to go play in the sand. I want to go swim in the ocean. I want to go watch sunset, right? But sometimes I make myself sit inside and work. Whereas we've talked about, if you want to be the most productive, like go to a city you don't like, in a place that you don't want to be outside exploring, and you're going to work a lot more and not have that like carrot dangling in front of your face. So that's the validity I wanted to guess in sharing that. If especially as a new nomad, you will be tempted. You will want to if nightlife is your thing, stay out till 1 a.m. when you're in Bangkok in a cool place, or you will want to, just sit outside and be on a beach if you're in a tropical paradise that you love and you have to be inside working. So it's like, it takes more restraint, but also your mornings and nights and weekends or whatever hours you're not working, you get to go enjoy those things. And that's the whole fucking point. So I feel no pity for this, but I wanted to give the slightest thing to say it is real. And like, if you choose that life, you must learn to have restraint and have boundaries and do your work and stay in and not have all the fun. Like, be an adult. Although I hate saying that because I don't want to be an adult. I hate that advice you just gave. Just don't blame nomad life. Do what you got to do in life.
Yeah, but I mean, sustainability matters. I mean, everything that they wrote in here is a mirror of what I did in my first, in Colombia. I think I went out like 17 nights in a row or something. My liver was pickled. But I mean, I didn't blame Colombia. You're
not like, I can't do nomad life. It's like, too much fun. I got to go home.
Yeah.
You were like, I need to be a responsible adult.
It's like you drink too much and then you call and blame your friends the next day. It's like, no.
That's a really good analogy. If you blame other people for like giving you too many shots, you're like, say no to the shots. That's a you problem.
Say no to the shots. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna give that a 0.
Give it a 0.5.
You give it a fraction.
I'll go with the 0.
Okay, 0.5.
I'll stick your 0. All right.
Okay, this one I agree with to a certain degree. Loneliness hits harder than you expect. They say this one surprised me the most. Bangkok is crowded, thousands of expats, travelers, nomads, but that doesn't automatically mean connection. I met plenty of people, but relationships often felt transient. People were coming and going. So, people were on a way to Bali one day, leaving somewhere else the next, yada, yada, yada. Basically, it was very hard to make connections with people, even though you feel like you're surrounded. That I agree with, in that I've seen that because people have taken different paths to being digital nomads. We actually read the same thing the last time we did one of these critical pieces on somebody trying to take down digital. They said the same thing, the loneliness aspect. And a lot of people have cited that as a loneliness aspect, not just for digital nomad life, but for remote work life. And I guess when I first started working remote, I felt that pretty strongly, just immediately. I'm like, oh man, I am really isolated. But then becoming a digital nomad, I felt the opposite of that. I felt way more connected than I had anywhere when I was, stationary in one spot and going to an office and even had a good community in my office. But I think it's because we did it, I would say, the right way to become a digital nomad, starting through a travel group like Wi-Fi Tribe. A lot of people, remote years
they still
gone
exist.
now, I think. It is gone, right?
Well, they got bought out, and then like that company went under, got bought out again. Yeah, but I think it still exists.
Funky, yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, we met our community, and that was that. We were just like, you instantly bond. It's like an avatar where they put little tail things together. It's like you got a lifelong bond. Like, within the first first few days of that. So it can go in that far extreme of extremely lonely, which is even more lonely when you're surrounded by people, and go in the other extreme where you make some of the most incredible friends on the planet, that most lifelong friendships you'll ever get, the most meaningful friendships you'll ever get. So this one is critical, but you gotta do it right. I'd say
like the two thoughts that come to mind are saying that of examples of it lasting and not being transient. One, you and I met back, what was it, like 6 years ago now?
2019?
Yeah. Almost 7 years
before the
ago
pandemic.
we met. We have a business. You and I are going to be in the same place next month with some other friends we've also known for all these years. So you keep meeting up with people. One of the very first friends I met actually at Wi-Fi Tribe, when I started my long-term nomad life, I literally was just texting with her this morning, about we stay in touch still. So I give those two quick examples of just from today of people. And I was just texting with another nomad friend who I met 5 years ago. He's still one of my best friends. He might come visit in Costa Rica. There's just so many people I still keep. I'm sure there's more. Those are 3 that I think of today, right? So all of that to say, I definitely agree that you and I did it a right way. It's not the only way, but if you don't intentionally seek out community and build community in the beginning, or go to a place where you stay long enough that you're just kind of actually finding friends in that location, whatever that looks like for you, you will be lonely. It will be miserable. And it, like, I always think about when he talks about Bangkok, of like when you're in a place with so many people and still know no one. I think about New York when you're like, and when I think about living in an apartment in New York and you look out across a building where you can see in like 30 different apartments and everyone feels like they're in little boxes and you're like, there's a million people and like it's so lonely. If you're it's the weirdest feeling. So I get that. So this one can be very real if you don't intentionally seek out digital communities, groups, co-living spaces, co-work, like just whatever. And actually I'll give an episode because we went into this in detail, so we don't have to go into it now. But if you, like, I know if I didn't do that, I would have been miserable and not made it very long, because when you are lonely, and I've found myself like a couple times where I've traveled solo in between places for a couple of weeks or a week or two, whatever at a time. And I'm like, this sucks. Like, I can go out and meet people, but like, I don't feel like it, or it's lonely, or it is transient. And like, that would be terrible. I would have given up long ago. But like, we found ways to make friends that we continue to see place after place after place in different countries around the world and continue to meet up. So it's not transient and it's amazing. And like you said, deeper and better. And yeah, so this is like a 50-50 shot. If you do it right, it's the best thing in the world. Often I feel like less lonely than typical US living. If you don't do it, you'll be lonely and it'll be terrible and you should go home. So if you want our tips, we have, I was just looking back as you were talking, episode 211. So it's not that far back.
Hey,
I know, I did it, right? I was going to ask you, but you were talking. So it was only like a little over a month ago we recorded this one. The 11 real ways digital nomads actually make friends. So if you're listening to this and that's important to you, or you don't know how you would do that, I feel like we went on for a really long time talking about that one. I don't know. So go check out that one. But this, again, so I guess this one, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because it absolutely can be valid if you don't intentionally do this. But there's ways to not have that be a reality as a nomad. So if you are set on nomad life and you want to travel the world and move around and experience different countries and cultures and places we've talked about, there are ways that you can make sure that's not your reality. Yeah.
It's a perfect 5 out of 10 because it's a 10 in the concern level. It's a 5 because it can be completely addressed.
Perfect. Before we go on to the next one, by the way, if you are just listening to this and you are still looking for a fully remote job that lets you live and work from anywhere in the world so you don't have to come back home like this person, you've learned all of our tips and you want to stay and travel the world as long as you want, check out beachcommute.com/email. It's our newsletter we send out every day, different remote job listings, tips for travel, finding remote jobs, lots of different opportunities every day. It's an awesome resource. People love it. So go to beachcommute.com/email if you want to make sure you get all those remote job listings and other tips from us in your inbox each day. So with that, I don't know what number are we on? Number 6.
We are number 6. Okay. Number 6 is the romanticized work from cafes life gets old.
Interesting.
So kind of a continuation from a previous one. But they say on Instagram, you see digital nomads with MacBooks, flat whites, and minimalist desks. What you don't see are the crowded cafes, the loud blenders, the fight for power outlets, or the staff giving you side eyes for sitting there for 5 hours and buying one drink. Sure, it's fun at first, but eventually I realized I was spending too much energy finding the perfect spot.
Work from home.
You kind of get the gist of that. Work from home. I you know what? I made the mistake early on digital nomading of doing that. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to work outside for some reason to
like your work from home loneliness. Like, get out, work from home. But you also love cafes and coffee, so I could see you just being like, this is fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm now mostly work from home kind of vibe. If there's calls, I'm automatically working from home because all of those things they said in there are 100% true. Like it's fine if you're doing some deep work with your headphones on and you've got no calls. You want uninterrupted, just, focus in on something with a little buzz around you. Cool. But like all those things are definitely true. And it is hard. I'd say 1 out of 10 cafes is effective to work in, maybe, if that. You got Wi-Fi concerns. You've got time limit concerns. You've got setup. Power outlets is always a thing. The noise is always a thing. Yeah, they're kind of right. the cafe life, that ain't it, really. It's a nice reprieve every now and then to get out.
It's like a rarity for me. When I travel places, that's just like I feel like even back in college, my friends were like going to the library and going to places, and I just always like to study. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm productive at home because I'm like, I know what it is, I know what I got, I don't have to go anywhere, I can do my thing, and then I'm gonna get it done faster than everybody else, and then I'm gonna go out and just live while you're still in the library being distracted by friends and life and food and whatever. So I don't know, that's my take too, is like I like to get my work done from home and then just like go out to eat with friends, go explore, go walk, go work out, whatever. For me, cafe life, it's like, it's a fun little treat. I say treat not because I can't do it, because every now and then I'm like, you know what, I could use a different space today. Like I have a creative project or there's something for 2 hours I just want to put my head down and do, and have a new creative environment around me, or I just would really like some food from this place or a drink or whatever it is. It's like a fun break up. It's not like an expected thing that I'm like thinking will be my everyday go-to in life.
Shouldn't be a default, no, but I can see how somebody would see
and think that,
Instagram pictures and be like, cool, look how free that is, I'm hanging out and working wherever I want, that kind of thing. Gets tiring. It's kind of unsustainable. It also depends where you are. Bali,
for example, it's so set up for this, and everywhere is like pretty accommodating or easy. But also, if you want like to not deal with that, but you don't want to be at home, go to like pay for a co-working space. That's the point of those. So you like kind of get the best of both worlds, where you get out, they have outlets at every single seating place, there's a quiet space, a loud place, sometimes there's food. It's like that's what those are made for. So think of cafes. If you're going to start doing this soon, don't think that's what you're going to be doing every single day. I mean, some people's jobs you can and they like to, and also like my computer lasts a whole lot longer now. With this one, I could go for hours and hours and hours a whole day, whereas before I didn't. I had to have outlet. I don't know, things are changing. So think about it as a treat and not as like the way to work and live abroad.
Yeah, agreed. What do we give this? It's a tricky one, huh?
Like a 2 out of 10. What I mean, I would never say no. I mean, I feel like it's tricky because all of these are like, yes, these are legit things, but like, no. Also, like if you think about a 10 would be like, this is a great reason not to be a nomad. Like not working from a cafe is not a great reason to. I give it like a 0 actually of reasons to go home from nomad life. But if you're just thinking of like getting your expectations right, I was like, okay, maybe a 3 out of 10 if you thought this was the way because Instagram showed you that and you got confused.
Okay, let me revise then. Let me revise my thinking, because you kind of reframed it in a way that I understand a little bit better. Okay, in which case, if this is a case for, it might change the way that you view being a digital nomad, but it's not going to make it any less valuable. It's just, you might find the experience, actually, on the contrary, you might find it more pleasurable if you're actually able to be productive and not distracted, because it's just an added stress. Yeah, okay, two and a half. Generous. 2.5 for me.
Okay, what's next?
Number 7, you still carry yourself with you. Ooh, this one's a deep introspection. The biggest lesson I learned moving to Bangkok didn't magically make me more productive, happier, or fulfilled. For a while, I thought a change of scenery would fix everything. My stress, routines, my restlessness. Okay, this is very interesting.
This is like my favorite.
Because it is so good because it's so nuanced. There's so much to it. But these are people that are running away. There's a lot of digital nomads that are running, and they don't want to face themselves, and they fill the gap with distractions. And digital nomad life can be pretty distracting because you've got so much else to think about. But I mean, when everything's quiet, it comes, you've talked about this, it comes back stronger. Like everything's got a magnifying glass when you're a digital nomad. Your highs are higher, your lows are lower. And I can see how if you are doing this for the wrong reasons,
you will be miserable.
What's the expression? What? Chickens are coming home to roost. The chickens will come home to roost.
Well, I've never heard that as a quote. Why is that relevant?
Chickens.
The quote. While you're looking that up, the quote I was going to give that I use every time for this one, I think it's from a song, is "Everywhere I go, there I am." You know what I mean? It's like you're not running from you.
I like mine
chickens. Better. Let's stick with the chickens roosting.
Okay, so it means the bad things that someone has done in the past have come back to bite or haunt the individual.
I like them together.
the consequences of doing wrong always catch up
Those
with
chickens,
the wrongdoer.
they will come. They will flock fast when you go abroad.
Chickens coming home.
They're
ready to roost. They're coming in hot.
Funniest vision.
Coming in hot. All these
Just
chickens.
like imagine
angry
like
chickens.
geese just like flying in, like chickens aren't like flying like that.
There is nothing silly about a goose.
Yeah, they're
You ever
mean.
met a
They
goose
hiss.
before? Those are dinosaurs.
Imagine the
Those things are
chickens just
angry.
like now like waddling like all of just like flooding.
Seriously,
But it's okay. I'll go with your analogy. It is so. With that, we've had this debate. I mean, I guess it's like the age-old debate. I don't know if that's actually true, but for you and I, we've talked a lot about this, and kind of like as a philosophical question for a lot of years of like, are digital nomads running away from life or running to life? And you know, maybe it's different percentages of each. I think that different people, I don't know if it's like a 50-50 or what the percentage of nomads are. Some are running away from their own problems at home or life, thinking as this person would that it would just like fix you. But I think there's also many nomads who are running towards like a fuller life and still doing the inner work along the way. Because I do think, I do think there's certain environments people might live in at home where you can go and like maybe you would be happier at the beach or not in a place that's like rainy and gray 9 months of the year, or just having a change of scenery can like give you, I don't know, you get out of a rut, you can get out and like have new thoughts and think new things simply because you're in a different environment and not having the same like cycles over and over. So I think there are ways that it can help you, but if you are someone who doesn't do the inner work and you're literally just avoiding and trying to run, I think it can, like nomad life can also just be the same equivalent of distracting yourself as drugs, alcohol, food, porn, gambling, like name your vice, like insert travel. It can be an addiction too. So it won't fix your problems. And as Jeff said, if you go there and you're still trying to work through things and now you're alone on the other side of the world and you're lonely, as this person talked about before, it's going to feel amplified times 100. And I could see why you'd be going, like running home, because that's terrifying.
Yeah, I could totally see this. I think it happens. Again, I think it's user error rather than digital nomad lifestyle. I think before you do this, you have to get your reasons straight, and they have to be good ones, because this is not a magic. It's not a magic pill. No. It's not going to fix your life for you.
It will expose
It'll enhance your life. It could bring out it'll expose it. It can bring out the best parts of you and potentially the worst parts of you. So I think if you're going in with the right intentions, you're looking to enhance your life rather than to fix your life, or you found something that was missing that's there for yourself, I think that's going to have a positive outcome for you. But if you just bomb off on a one-way flight and you think that all of your problems are going to be gone with a change of scenery, it's not. It's going to come back and hit you really hard, and you're going to be in a strange country. You're going to be alone. Those chickens are coming hot, I'm telling you. Flying chickens, talons out. Lots of them. How many chickens
100.
do you think you could take?
I don't know.
No way. You can't take 100 chickens. You are not taking
I would feel too bad. I would just hug and love the chickens, and then they would be fine.
As they're scratching and biting you, like
all
the birds.
Chickens be calm. How many can you take? What is this question? I don't want to kill any chickens.
Are they rabid? They're going to kill you. You got to kill the chickens. Or are they going
just want
to?
nice
You are the
chickens.
chickens.
I would just love them, and they would be loving.
They're coming
I can
home
handle
to
them.
roost. They're not
I
nice
don't
chickens.
avoid my problems. I'm ready to roost. They can come sit with me. I've done the inner work. I'm always doing the inner work. Those chickens can come sit on my lap and hang out. I am one with my chickens.
Oh, that's good. All right, well, make sure you're one with your chickens before you hit the road. It's our final advice.
That feels like philosophical and poetic, Jeff. Like, I think this should be like a new thing forevermore of like, deal with your chickens. Like, that should be a phrase that people say. Like, don't go travel till you deal with your chickens. Like, don't talk to me again until you deal with your chickens.
Go deal with, go deal with your chickens, dude. Your chickens are roosting. I can
this
see them.
This should be a thing. But I will say, like, I do as a magnifying glass to that. The same way people talk about like entrepreneurship. Like, there's certain things that you can do in life that will bring up and out like anything you haven't dealt with, any insecurities, fears, Yeah, whatever it
Draws it
is,
right
thoughts,
out.
things you've been avoiding, things you haven't healed. I feel like when you're home and you have the safety of like your family or your friends or the same routines and everything's easy and like you can distract yourself, it's not challenging and hard of like your environment. It's easier to just kind of like patch and pretend that everything is fine. But when your, flight's delayed at 3 a.m. and you miss your flight, you don't know where you're sleeping, and you're alone in a dark hotel room that you had to get last minute, and you don't know anyone in that country, you face your feelings in those moments, right? So it's like, I feel like it brings up harder things, and you can be very alone far across the world, and it just like magnifies it. So I would actually say, on the contrary, if you are someone who likes to deal with your stuff and heal and improve your life, nomad life is like a fabulous way to like fast track that, I think. So if you're not looking for that, it will send you right home and you will hate nomad life. If you're the type of person who wants to face and deal with that, I feel like nomad life is fantastic, and you will exponentially grow in a way that you won't at home.
Yeah. I got nothing to add to that.
I give this one a 5 out of 10
accordingly,
again.
then?
Only with a caveat of like for the people who are not willing to deal with their inner stuff, that's a real thing, and you should go home. You know what I mean? That's why, I feel like you're a 10 out of 10, and then I feel like it's a 0 out of 10 for the people who are like, I love the inner work, I love the growth, give me that, like go shoot out on nomad life. So I give it like an average of a 5, I guess.
But again, these people would be using digital nomad life as a scapegoat for not being accountable for their own chickens. Like this is not digital nomad related. It's not. This is not digital nomad lifestyle related. This is you having a problem. You made a decision that doesn't align with fixing
like we can't
problem.
blame. Well, maybe I give it like a 2 out of 10 then, because I guess what I'm thinking for this one is it's like, if you like, I guess I just know people well enough that some people are not willing to face their stuff, and so this is actually like for that subset of people, I feel like that actually is a barrier then, that nomad life is like gonna be miserable and you should go home, and it's not changeable for you, and it is the nomad life that's kind of like bringing that stuff up. So it's not nomad life's fault, it's your person, but it's just not changeable. Whereas the people who are willing to, they can welcome that, and it's not going to stop them from living nomad life. In fact, it's actually like a beautiful aspect of it, even though it's hard. So I don't know, what would you rank it? It's a confusing one.
I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
I think I put it somewhere near the loneliness one, but
it's still a them problem.
This one's less about preparation. It's more about knowing yourself. It takes some introspection, and a lot of people aren't good at self-reflection. Just kind of responding to their environment. They're not really exactly looking inward at how they're reacting to it. So that might be a tough one, but still, it's on you. So I go. Give me 2.5 on this one.
What's next?
Okay. Next we've got the next list. So this one, there's going to be some duplicates. I'm gonna skip over those ones, and we're gonna start with another relationship one. But I'm gonna bring this one up again, because it's a little bit different, because she's bringing up a study in how hard it is to build relationships. She says that it's one thing to meet people, it's another thing to build lasting friendships. And she brought up this study from University of Kansas, states that it takes 50 hours of hanging out to go from strangers to casual friends, 90 hours to become actual friends, and more than 200 hours to become close friends. So let's think about that. If you're only staying in a city for 1 or 2 months, how realistic is it to invest that kind of time with someone? Even if you hit it off, they're going to be gone, and you end up with surface level connections.
I have so many thoughts, so I want you to go first.
Yes, again, you can achieve those 200 hours. It's compressed time. You can achieve that in one day with Wi-Fi.
Hours. The math is mathing. Don't question it. You can get 200 hours in 24 hours.
You can do 200 hours in 24 hours.
Time is not real as in nomad life, so I'm also like, actually, but maybe time that's isn't true.
Yeah. So I will say, I think if you're going to a city, not meeting anybody, intending to meet people there without plans of meeting anybody, like you're just going to organically meet people once you get there, hitting that 200-hour mark is going to be pretty fucking tough, I would say. But if you're going to a community that's going to be there, people that are already on the ground, you're going to meet with, that you've prearranged through a group, you're going to hit that number in 6 hours. No, you're gonna like you are going to fast track your friendships. And I remember, like, by the end of the first Wi-Fi Tribe chapter weekends, say getting there what, like midday Friday, and then Sunday night, I've lived a lifetime with these people. That's 48 straight hours of living with somebody.
If we think about those numbers of the 90 hours or let's say give it the 200 hours. Let's just use that as an example. If you're spending a casual like if I think about people I see in the States, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm going over to your house for dinner, and there's a group of 6 of us, and we're there for 2 or 3 hours, right? That's one subset of time versus like one of the first weekends you and I met, I was riding on the back of your ATV while you're driving me like around cliffs that we can die on, and then it gets dark and we have to find a place for camp and figure out how to make food. It's like we call it like trauma bonding, right? But like the activities you're like those hours are so much more bonding than like casually being in a group with someone for a couple hours and talking to them some of the time. So I feel like the hours do condense. That's why we joke like you can get those 200 hours in 24 hours. Like when you go through serious travel adventures with people, you bond in a very it is some sort of wormhole. I remember the first 4 months I came back from traveling. And someone was like, I feel like you just left. And I was like, I feel like I just had 10 years of life. You know, it's like there's something different. So even with the time, I feel like it doesn't take the normal casual 200 hours is like very condensed for that reason. And then also, as you said, if you do intentionally build community or go to a co-living space or, you know, for us, Wi-Fi Tribe, you are like literally with everyone for an entire month. It's like you get those hours really quick because you're literally with them 24 hours a day, or maybe, you know, you sleep in your own room, you know, you do other things. You're not necessarily with everyone every second, but you hit those hours really fast because you might be like, I remember the very first day I arrived at my Wi-Fi Tribe chapter, the girl I was texting today from like 7 years ago. And the first day she was like, do you want to come co-work with me? Do you want to go to this gym class with me? Do you want to? And then we had like a group dinner later that night. So the first day of meeting her, I had like 12 hours just with her. And she was like so fun and excellent, you know? So anyway, I think you build those hours faster, and in the right settings, you can condense those hours. But as you said, if you're not intentionally finding those communities, it would take you like 2 years to build that with someone, and they're going to be gone in 10 days and like you'll never find it. So that's why those relationships feel more transactional when you can't build that time quickly. But if you intentionally do it, it's like warp speed, rocket ship. You will be deeply bonded with people that you'll still talk to for like decades to come.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with you're going to be living in real world scenarios with them. You're going to see them frustrated. You're going to see them happy. You're going to see them, how they react to different situations. Whereas, say you go to try to make friends with a digital nomad in Thailand, and this is just organic, the conversations you're going to have are going to be over at a restaurant, right? It's going to be over a coffee or something like that. You're on your best behavior. You're maybe sort of trying to put your best foot forward, nomad meetup, and it's not, I don't know, it's not going to say it's a mask or it's disingenuous, but a little bit is. Like you're not living you're not having an authentic, like natural lulls in conversations, just calms and quiet. When you're sitting down living with somebody, you're just like, how is this person being in periods of calm? How are they just living? Just what are their quirks, kind of things. You may see them. I think that's best when people make themselves vulnerable. I don't have any
other conversations
and
now.
I think you really get to know somebody then.
So I don't have any other conversations now. Tell me your deepest, darkest fears.
I think it's how you really understand. I was just talking to somebody about this recently. It's like I like to be with somebody long enough to understand what their default reaction is to life. You know, I think people can default to humor, kindness, cynicism, anger, happiness, criticism.
What is your default,
you will see that come out over time. I think probably thinking about things. Like I take I'll hear something and I'll think about it. My response is to think about it.
I was just curious what you'd say.
It's not. Like, I don't think I've got an initial emotional reaction to things. I think I process things. I'm more of a processor. Yeah. It's my default. Let me think about that kind of thing. But you'll meet people that they default to anger and they hide it for a while, but you can kind of see it in there, But over time, when you're with them, that's how you really see who they are. What their personality is all about, especially when things are not
funny
going
as we're
well.
talking about this. I know I don't think this is one of the things anyone said, but as we think about this, I think about dating as a digital nomad, how condensed time is as well. Whereas like we're talking about the things are like, how do people react in situations? Like if you're just dating someone in a typical situation, the way most of society does, it's like you see them 1 week and then another week and then maybe twice a week and they're on their best behavior. And it's been like 3 or 4 or 5 months before you like really get the real them where they like get angry and sort of, something blows up. Whereas as a nomad, but you're dating or friendships, I guess really goes for either. But like you're seeing that in day 3 because you're in a foreign country and something's lost or time or your wallet gets stolen and you have no money or like whatever happens. And you're like, here's the real world. How do you react? So you get to know. I just feel like you don't waste as much time getting to know people because you get to see their truest colors so fast in travel and digital nomad life, for better or worse.
Agreed. It's an accelerated mode. You really get it.
So
quick,
anyway, I get why someone said
like
this, but I feel like you actually, this is like what I complain about most honestly when I'm back home. And I'm like, I miss college where I feel like it was that bubble of getting all the time with my friends because we just all lived together, versus now I'm like, I see my friends like 2 hours once a week here and there. And I'm like, this sucks. Like you don't get those hours fast. So I feel like nomad life, you can get 0 hours or like very few if you're doing it in a way that's not, intentional. But otherwise, I feel like you get your hours so much faster and like higher quantity, more fulfilling, and more the quality of the hours are better. So I think nomad life is so much better in that way. You get to know people so much faster, but you have to put yourself in the right places to do that. So what would you give this one?
Completely agree with that.
Interesting one. It's a rating.
I think it's very similar to the loneliness one. Like it is real and it does happen to people. That's a legit thing. But if you're prepared, you're hopefully listening to this podcast, we're just jumping in. It's fixable and can go the opposite direction. It could be a perfect 10 out of 10 on the happiness scale or a 0 out of 10. So I put it in the middle. Fair. Again, put it at 5.
Do we have one more or 2 more? I'll give that one.
How about you? Same?
5.
Yeah, I've got one more, and then last comment from this person. Actually, cool. 1.5. One's a quick one. We're just going to go through this next one really quick. Face-to-face connection cannot be replaced digitally. So this person was staying in touch with their old friends through video calls, relying on online communities of other remote workers, and not meeting people in person. I see this as kind of like a lonely kind of act of desperation to build connection when you haven't done all the things that we talked about by making, going with and finding your community. This is like, oh shit, this is my backup plan. I need to get on the phone. I need to get on the computer to see somebody because I'm not feeling that connection. This is just like not a great solution for that.
It's funny, the visual
problem.
That comes up. I remember I was in Santa Teresa in Costa Rica in this cute little cafe that's like really popular there, and I was eating dinner with somebody there, and I remember like this girl, she was kind of like across, I don't know, I was like staring straight at her, but she was at this table like kind of somewhat close to me, and she had like ordered her food, she has a glass of wine, and then she had like her phone, they call it, like propped up against the glass, and it was like, it felt like it was like a dinner date with a friend back home. It's like, I love to like read people and see what everyone's doing, but that was like my best guess of what was happening, and it was so strange to me. She like went to this restaurant, was like having a dinner date virtually with, I assume it was a friend back home. I don't know if it was like a boyfriend, a parent, whoever it was. But it was just so, I was like, this is so I mean, I guess it's nice. Like, if you're going to catch up with a friend, why not do it with, like, in this cafe? But, like, if you are, like, if I could extrapolate, and that's what this person was, let's say she hadn't made a single friend there in Costa Rica, and that was, like, how she was having to have, conversation and human connection, like, that's not sustainable. That's terrible. And that feels lonely when everyone around you is like with people and laughing with friends, and you're like having a virtual, whatever it is, conversation, dinner on your phone. Like, it's better than nothing, but it's not sustainable. Yeah,
I agree with you. It's better than nothing, but it's not the answer.
Find communities to make
patchwork
friends wherever you are.
And incidentally, that is the very best part about being a digital nomad, I think. Yeah. So nail that one. That
What?
might be the takeaway. Make sure your Wi-Fi is solid, and find a community.
And again, listen.
Start with Wi-Fi Tribe or with us. Like,
No, I was like,
we'll tell you where to go.
just come travel with me.
We'll tell you where to go.
No. You have like 1,000 chickens and people running at us. No. But it is true, and it's, I would say, don't bring your chickens. Not allowed with us. We got our own chickens that we're dealing with.
You know, I take care of my. I can't take care of
chickens.
chickens.
That is my life. But I was just gonna say something. Oh yeah, I would say listen to that last episode that we did. I think what I say it was like 211. If you're listening to this, you're like, yeah, fuck you guys. This sounds lovely, but that's also really hard. Where do I start? What do you do? Go listen to that episode. We gave a lot of different advice on how to do it. Otherwise, this episode would be like another hour if we do that. But I would say that will solve almost everything aside from your Wi-Fi. So make sure, as you said, get your Wi-Fi, your chickens, and your community. Done. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Perfect.
I like it. But yeah, I can, I don't know. A lot of these are, I can see why this person went home, but a lot is blaming things that you could account for and take care of yourself. And it's a lot of, I guess what I will say, if we circle back to the beginning, Jeff, where you were like, we'll give you the honest talk of like what's hard. A lot of things we said are hard in terms of like it takes a lot of energy, mental space to plan your trips, get accommodations with Wi-Fi, make sure you have an accommodation that is good. It's much easier to sit your ass at home in your apartment that has strong Wi-Fi and a good view for video calls, and it's not going to drop, and you have friends who you've known since you were 5. That's easy. That is easy. But I'm going to drop another quote. I haven't done quotes in a while. Is if you do the easy thing, life is hard. And if you do the hard things, life is easy. So what do we mean by that? If you do just sit there and live your life when you're dreaming of exploring Thailand and going to Europe summers and doing whatever, I just feel like your life is never going to be as fulfilling as you want it to. It's going to be easy sitting at home, but you'll never like live those dreams you've been dreaming of. It takes hard work to pack and plan and figure out logistics and figure out how to use your credit cards and money abroad and your phone and your Wi-Fi and make friends. It's hard and it takes energy. And to me and to you, it is so worth it to, have those life experiences, make deep friendships, live in other cultures, places, things, views, experiences, adventures. So choose your hard. I guess that's what I would say. It's not easy, all the things we said, but they are all overcomeable if you desire this life. And I just want you to know going into it, we're not saying that it's easy, but it is doable and worth it for us and maybe for you likely as well if you're listening. Thank you.
Well put.
Nothing to add. If you got value out of this, you could give a 5-star thumbs up, whatever rating on whatever, if you just pick up your phone, whatever platform you're listening, that helps other people find this. Again, if you didn't already sign up for our email list, go to beachcommute.com/email if you want remote jobs and more just, quotes and tips about chickens from us on the daily. I'm going to talk about chickens forever on this podcast now. I think it's better than feet. We haven't talked about feet once in those episodes. We probably should. And with that, there's...
Oh, yeah, feet. We got to revisit feet. It's been a few weeks.
Just thought we'd mention that again. That's probably everything. Any last words, Jeff?
Casual foot drop.
Foot drop, chicken drop. What else?
No,
yeah,
I love this
glad
episode.
You found those
that was a fun one.
That was a good one. Yeah, let us know in the comments if this was helpful for you. Feel free to write us in. Someone on our team always passes along those emails.
I love that we've got people corresponding with us in the comments on Spotify.
I love that.
Yeah, I know, isn't that great? We're getting a lot more people that are responding
I love
back.
It.
There's a few. I might have to do a call out to some people at some point, but there's a few like dedicated listeners.
We love it.
Like,
we see you. We know you.
Fantastic.
Keep at it. It means so much to us.
And we will see you again next week.